and doing all that. This is what is the basic functions today. Maybe we can put in that dimension. So for that, what are the different roles in education in your education system? One is ITIs, which will make the bottom layer people, which will be manufacturing routine jobs and all that. The second is the diploma holders who will be able to use some brain and understand it and implement the things. The third at the highest level is engineers, which will be able to take the design of the things. For all that, what is that happening today and what are the challenges today? All this is the main agenda point. What is going to be the role of engineers in that? So by taking that into the account, now first I will request J.S.R.K. Prasad to see what is going to be the systems. First we will take it in 4 levels. First let us understand what is the disruptions happening in every domain or every areas. Few of the areas we have limited time, so we will take 4, 5, 6 areas. And what are the disruptions happening in every area and what is its impact. And the second level is what is going to be the systems at that area. Then next is what type of capabilities the students or somebody has to have. And the last is how the engineering colleges has to gear up to achieve that. That is the 4 dimensions which we are going to discuss. First, let us listen J.S.R.K. Prasad, his views. What is going to be the changes in the technology front, in the engineering side, manufacturing or various dimensions, whatever, power side, metallurgy and various dimensions, what are the disruptions?
Thank you, Ramkrishna. On the outset, I would like to congratulate the management for successfully completing 25 years, and I wish they go on forever and service the local community, especially the most appreciable thing is having a college in the rural area. It's the biggest challenge, that's what I was talking. It's not an easy task to have a college in the rural area with having the best of the faculty and giving education. I think you all should really give a standing ovation to the management for this one. Thank you all. And one more thing is I really appreciate all you students for picking a serious life learning point session rather than going for the entertainment session. Ramkrishna was talking about disruptions. Today, I would like to put these things in a very simple perspective. See, as a human, we have the perception capability, execution capability, thinking capability. What are all these technologies coming over the years? They are all just augmenting the capabilities of the human capacities. Like suppose if you see with the naked eye, you can see maybe about 0.1 mm is the lowest size you can see with your naked eye. But you go through a scanning electron microscope or STM, you could see up to 0.1 nanometers. So that's a level of perception these technologies have increased. So, and one is execution point. Execution point is previously it used to be mechanical, now it has become electromechanical combined with computers and technology, and now we are seeing the latest one as artificial intelligence that is augmenting our thinking capability. So what it's adding is overall it is increasing our capabilities in an exponential way. So far it has been a progressive way, but now it's going to be an exponential way going forward. So it's definitely going to have a huge impact on the industry. When you look at the industry, fundamentally there are 2 types of industries. One is industries or business which make product for the market, and another type of industry which create the market for their product. So these are the disruptive industries, and the rest of the disrupted industries. So the question is, how do you handle, because majority of the industries or business fall into this second category, that is being disrupted. So how do you handle these disruptions of the technologies without being deleted? So, taking the perspective of the industry which I am in, I'm in the very core of the industries, we call the metal industries, the secondary processing of the metals, the foundries or the forging, and it is called the mother of all industries. But that is where the basic thing starts. That's the oldest industry. So just let me take you through this, the past, the present, and how it's going to be in the future. When we look into the manufacturing industry, the first thing is metals. Metals are the materials which you work upon. That is, all the civilization is based on, the growth of the civilization is based on the type of the metal it has been developed. We call it the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. And now we are into the age of advanced materials. Today the materials are developed in such a way that they are one material developed, the latest materials are cannibalizing the old materials. For example, we are talking about steel. Steel used to be the steel, or cast iron used to be the major component in the automobile previously. But today you find very little components in the automobile. Majority of it is moving to either aluminum or magnesium or special alloys. Even the engine components, most of the things are being made by titanium and special materials. So it's the materials that are changing, and how these materials are being developed. It has been developed a period of time, because that makes a lot of change. If you take stainless steel, it was developed in 1920 or somewhere around that time. So it has drastically impacted the type of the products, especially. Today we are seeing all the stainless steel utensils which has come into our home also. Previously stainless steel was not there. We used to talk about brass and all these things. So the manufacturing materials are the materials on which we are using have been changing, and this is going to revolutionize even the computing also. I think you should have heard about graphene also. Graphene and metal ceramic composites. These are things which are going to change the semiconductors technologies in the coming days, and your computing power will be growing at an exponential rate, and that will in fact impact the end product, either computers or whatever it is. And these are how the materials are coming up. And so far it has been a progressive way of development of these materials. But the latest AI technologies, the development of the materials is much shortened now. Because when you design an alloy or a material, you need to do a lot of iteration, a lot of experiments on all these things. And if you have some data, your AI is put an AI on that one, and you can get a much quicker way of getting to the material. For example, the recent development is one of the AI which was used in the development of a battery design. I think they developed a battery which consumes 70% less lithium. So that is how all these materials are going to be impacted. Even in the civil engineering, I think maybe you should be aware that carbon concrete is going to come up.
Okay, that's the material side what we are all talking. But what is going to be the holistic mechanical engineering with few examples, which people can understand as a common man?
That's what I've got. One is the materials which we work upon. The second part is the processing. The third part is the manufacturing, actually, the machines which we work upon. If we take the machines are previously when we are talking about machines, there used to be a metalworking machine, used to be conventional lathes, then it got to CNC machines, and now we have CNC machines with IoTs. So that's a new development. But going forward, what these machines can have is AI technology, with all the data coming in. What could happen, what the type of machines you could get in is totally self-sustained machines. That is, when I have a component to manufacture, all I just need to do is the drawing into the feed the drawing, and it could design its own process of sequence of machining, and it can pick up its own tools, what type of inserts to be used, what type of tooling to be used, and it can, when in the process of machining, it can generate data and how the machining is happening and the quality of the machining, and it can monitor the life of the inserts, and it can advise the person or whoever is operating the machine when to change the inserts, and it's going to impact how the machine is performing in terms of what we call the overall equipment effectiveness. So, and that again it's going to tell you, the machine is going to tell when it is going to have a problem, when you what is the maintenance you have to do, and when you have to do all these things. So it becomes a totally self-sustained unit. So what is going to impact on the advantage for this is something which is an exciting opportunity for the manufacturing, especially because I don't need any more skilled people with the AI technology. I don't need any skilled operators, or I don't need any sort of engineers who are going to just tell me what sort of insert to be used, what sort of machine sequence I have to use, what is the coding to be done on the machining. I don't need all this thing. Everything will be a self-sustained machine. All I just need to give is a component to the machine. So that is one thing which is an exciting opportunity for the manufacturing industries. So this is going to impact.
I will come back to you. Let me ask Bhavani, what is going to be the changes happened in today's electronics and communication? Because most of these people may be working on electronics and communication. What are the, let us put only few minutes, not elaborate more, so that we have a shortage of time. We need to complete in 4 rounds. So what is that preliminarily? What is electronic engineering? What is the changes in the electronic engineering?
First, fundamental changes are become digital. And so, almost everything has transformed into digital systems over a period of time. So, very little analog portion what is left. You take a classical case of your television here. It has something like 4 controllers inside, except the final sound part, the driving the speaker, remaining is all digital. Imagine 4K TV, that means it is something having 8.3 million pixels, something around, you require more than 2 gigabits per second transfer, even you consider 264 encoding and all, and driving at that rate onto the panel, through LVDs or any other digital. So everything has transformed to digital. So what enabled that? 3 fundamental technologies. One, like JSR has told, compute or the semiconductor technology, the ability to process, communicate at a very high speed. That is one dimension, semiconductor technology. Other is the communication technology. The modern communication, even wireless 5Gs and all, we are looking at 10 Gbps speed. On an average, 1 Gbps speed now people are able to deliver. The communication technology has fundamentally become more and more deterministic and also digital. Your semiconductor technology has a ballistic rise. Now you have enormous computing power. Compared to 2007, now the compute capability is 22,000 times higher. 22,000 times better compute than 2007. Imagine that is the rate at which electronics and all. So one communication, other is technology, other side is with different kinds of materials. Sensor technology is also drastically improved. So you have fundamental sensing, you have communication, you have compute technologies. So your algorithms become much more powerful. So that's where every device, every appliance, every system on earth is becoming smart, because it has that ability of sensing, analyzing the things in real time, and also respond to the changing things. So that portion, what essentially done is every domain has now augmented with these kind of technologies. As in more and more data gets generated, AI algorithms are maturing very, very faster rate. Imagine 1 year before we don't know generative AI. Now 2 crore people are using. Now this last week we heard a lot of AI has penetrated into development, testing, and also enterprise activities. So almost coding, implementation kind of activities are going down. Mostly intelligent algorithms, design capabilities are still there. And somewhere understanding the human needs and thinking about improving the quality of life is still there. But remaining all has been from your how you move, transportation, how you watch entertainment, how you communicate with people. Everything has drastic disruptive changes we are seeing.
As the data says, there is around 280 billion ARM processors were deployed across the world. That means everywhere the CPUs is going to be put in every place. For all that, what is the controlling factor or the changing factor is going to be algorithms. That is where the software. So this software-driven digital systems is going to change already. I am not talking about the future. It is already 28 to 80 billion ARM processors were deployed.
In understanding language, 25,000 crore ARM chips were deployed so far.
Now let us ask Suresh how the software industry is getting changed, because for all that I think now the major drive is towards the software, whether it's the algorithms or everywhere, whether it's a mechanical, civil or even medical, every area. One of the dimensions which is going to happen is maybe in the olden days we used to ask Prahlada, where is your hurry? And he used to say, Indu Galanandu Ledans and they have the Anand Jusina and then they that's what is happening in a the issue is ARM processors is now getting deployed. That means there is all programs and they are all interconnected. So how the software industry in total, whether it is a generative AI, whether it is a enterprise architecture or whatever the way, how that is the entire dimensions are changing, how we have to, what is going to be the bigger scenario in that. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope the session is going good and you all like it. Right? There's nothing boring. No sleeping faces here. Okay. So coming to the subject, we are talking about the disruptive technology and how IT industry is part of this change. Right? Maybe sometimes the disruptive itself, maybe it is a little hard, but sometimes I may call it as transformation to make it little softer. Right? The transformation is something, the change is inevitable. Whether you like it or you don't like it, or if you want to avoid, you can't do anything. You have to go with that. Right? So if you look at somewhere in 2000s, we all have Nokia mobiles. I think everybody has a Nokia mobile. Today is that anybody has a Nokia mobile in this room? I don't think. We all have the smartphones. So that is the biggest change what it is happened in the last 20 years, a generation, whatever it calls. So that means even from today to next 20 years or 30 years, whatever the down the line, there is going to be a change. So these changes are classified into three categories. What is current, what is the near future, and what is in the long term. So you may be hearing that a couple of years back, maybe 5 years down the line, people are talking about there is something automation is coming into IT and there are a lot of job cuts and a lot of discussion about it. So is that it happened? I don't think so. If you look at the number of IT engineers in 2015 versus 2024, maybe it is doubled. So that means there is still an opportunity for the people to understand the technology and to be up to date what you want to, right? So that is one of the key elements. What we have is, so yes, there is an automation happening. You might have heard about RPA, the robotic process automation, where there are a lot of redundant and repetition of work, where that has to be removed and it has to be removed by some systems, where that is how the number of tools come into picture and where the RPA has been, been placed into that. And today we are talking about the generative AI. And then, is this generative AI alone can exist? I don't think so. So, this has a lot of subsets in it, right? You might be already studying in your curriculum or not, I don't know. But there are a lot of subsystems in it. One is the machine learning, which is key subsystem of it, which is required to understand what is this, and then the deep how to input the data sets which are required. If I want to see this as a human, is a mind, how my system can recognize it. So I have to create this as a data set, and that is how it is going to be identified as a mind. Either it can be any side of it, or maybe from top, bottom, whatever it is, how it works. So there are a lot of text recognitions, image, videos, lot of things that has been already created, a lot of deep learning data sets into the system today through OpenAI. So you can find there are a lot of learning models which are already available to OpenAI. Then how are we going to and where are we going to use it, right? So I'm not sure if anybody has traveled in a flight, last couple of years back. So somebody is getting into the flight now today. I don't think anybody is going to do a manual verification of your face and versus your ticket, etc. So you just go and stand in front of a camera, and camera recognizes you, and it tells you that he is the guy who is going to fly. So it has already a data in it, and where it fetches this information through their systems, which are already maybe through your other networks, whatever they have, and then they are going to give a green signal that you can enter into the airport. So the similar way, we are fitting into a lot of systems today. For example, we have a bus, right, which is traveling from station A to station B and to C. And how do we know that the occupancy of the bus? Because there may be somebody who want to get out, get down somewhere between A and B also. Then there is a vacancy of seat, right? And how do we, identify that? So there is something that concept that came in here. It's also part of the generative AI, which is called computer vision. Where through computer vision, if I see this and capture everybody's face here, then I know that from class A, these many people have been, attended. These many people are missing, and these many chairs are vacant, empty. So by bringing all these technologies, what are we going to do with this? So definitely, it is going to help us be more efficient and more productive, right? So today, I am giving one example. It can be a bus, or it can be a train, any transportation system. So, today, if somebody is just running with empty seats, they don't need to run that empty seats. They can offer that in station B that I have, especially not in India, maybe it is not immediately that can be implemented. But whereas if you go to European countries, the transportation system is maximum used in trains and buses. And when, a train is traveling from station A to some station X, and in between, there are a lot of people, they get down and get up, and there are a lot of things that happens. And when I am trying to find out a seat, if somebody else is, will get down here to the destination what we supposed to be, I can offer him somebody that I have a vacant seat which you can replace. The similar way, so today we have already systems like Uber, Ola, and a lot of other transportation systems which is available, and you can book a Ola for point A to point B or in between different roadsides, etc. But at the same time, how do I find a mechanism where, suppose if I am traveling from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, so I come by some next train, and then from Vijayawada to Gurdwara, I need to find a bus, and what time the bus starts, and then from some X point again I have to take a cab. So whether I can find a cab or not. So this is not one single transportation system. One is train, one is bus, one is car. But through your mobility as a service, which through this mechanism you can identify and integrate all your systems in the ecosystem. And you can find out the best road, best possible way, and you can plan your travel. Where you are going to save your time, your money, everything is going to be an advantage here. So this is where this IT industry in the technology. And even if you look at skill set, maybe 10, 20 years back when somebody is saying I am an IT developer or something, people used to talk about are you a front-end developer, are you a UI developer, are you a back-end developer or something like that. Today I don't think so anybody is going to call it as still UI and then front-end, back-end, etc. This is going to be a full stack developer who has to work on back-end as well as front-end, who does know the front-end technologies as well as back-end technologies. So that is where this transformation journey is going to be, and that is how the technology is going to be evolved in the next near future. Then the next question maybe Ramakrishna sir may ask us, then how do we bridge that gap and what are the things that we need to look at. So I think we will discuss it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now I ask Mother, how do you think what are the changes we are seeing in education and the learning from the childhood to the transformation happening, and now even maybe some of the time student may be knowing more than the professor, and a lot of challenges is coming in everywhere. and the continuous learning activity what is happening, and even remote learning, and the companies started giving a degrees in different dimensions. Many things is happening. A lot of disruptions are happening.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this topic, and also I thank the leadership team here, and I'm very fortunate to be here on this special occasion. Thank you so much. And Ramakrishna sir, I'm very fortunate to be sharing stage with all of you. And also please accept my hearty congratulations, not only for the occasion, but also I'm so glad to see so many girls here in this college. So a big hand for inclusiveness and diversity. I'm really glad, and I was just talking to them, they are filled with dreams, they have ambitions, they have aspirations. But do you think everybody wants to get placed in a job and do the kind of routine things that they do? I'll come back to that. So we are talking about the changes an engineering college or an institution can bring in the larger society. I would just connect my points to the speaker in the morning, Dr. Satish. And before that also, I heard two wonderful things. One was the alumni of this college is willing to adopt 5 students. I don't think this is a very, very common practice. You know, they are like going to mentor them. It's a wonderful thing, I feel. And second thing was about how the college in the next 25 years, which to have a roadmap and see how you can evolve further. So for me, this is more like visiting Gudlavaleru was like, you know, okay, the name became famous because of the college. Otherwise, I don't think people knew about this place, right? So for me, I could immediately think of Manipal. You know, I had visited Manipal some time back and I said, look, Manipal is an education township, right? So maybe in the next 25 years, you never know, Gudlavaleru could be like, I'm not saying Manipal, but something like that. So for that vision to get materialized, what will be needed is few points that I would like to share from my knowledge and learning. Now coming to disruption, for me this is the disruption. You're able to see, right? All of you. How has it changed our lives? Anybody quickly? This can, the code, QR code. Till where, which level in the country has it changed the lives of the people? Where? No one. Okay, they might take some time to respond. So I feel this is a big disruptor. When I look at this in the back end, I'm sure 100 technologies are working, and out of which all of you must be learning some subject connected to this. I'm not a technology person, but I understand that many things are working behind. Now look at this and come to the way the engineering college can change. Maybe let us look at, I won't call it rural India or rural college or rural or urban. I think it is more about our mindset and our attitude. Of course, in terms of facilities, yeah, you may not have all the facilities that Vijayawada has or maybe Visakhapatnam has or Hyderabad, but there are many things which are still can be done with digital technologies. And the way we have adopted this code, QR code, shows that, and you know, India is, I think, ranking #1 in the world in terms of digital adoption. Now, in this background, how can this college play a larger role in changing the society around us? So, of course, we all, like you all have ambitions. Some of you want to get a job and, you know, go abroad, or some of you have some other dreams. Maybe this I can ask, how many of you are interested in taking up a job? Please raise your hands. Job, good placement. Why so slowly? You have not decided what to do? Yeah. Okay, how many of you want to go for further studies and research? Post-graduation? Okay, at least some noise. Okay, third question. How many of you want to start your own enterprise like a startup? Oh wow, very nice. Okay. Okay, so let me combine all this. Now, these aspirations have to be brought back to our own country. Okay, of course we know Satya Nadella is a very big person. His generation have all created big things in the entire world. But now is the time for India. Okay, it's time for India, and we need to look at how we develop our country further to make it a better and a more sustainable economy, right? So now, how does this work from an engineering college like this? I think every college has a lot of scope. First, I would say it means that we reimagine the curriculum. Like sir was just mentioning, there are so many types of learning, so many things are happening around us. So first and foremost is reimagining the curriculum by making it more relevant to the industry. So when I say industry, it is like, as we know, industry is dynamic, it is evolving. Okay, sometime back maybe a 3D printer was a new thing. By the way, sir, I think I saw the first 3D printer in your company. So today things have become very common. So technology is evolving, these things are evolving. But is your curriculum reflecting that? Yes or no? I don't know most of it, right? Like we talk about electric vehicles, we talk about driverless cars, we talk about so many technologies. But is the curriculum reflecting that is point number one. Point number two is how much of learning is going to be application oriented. In other words, how much of learning will have the skilling component. Now let me give you an example. So some of you here, I wish I could make it more interactive, but lack of time. So if I ask some of you, I'm sure all of you are not very keen on engineering after engineering. Right? Please be honest. Yes? Right? Some of you might have a dream. You want to make a movie. Some of you might say, I want to start a hotel. Some of you might say, oh, I want to start a tiffin center. Somebody might say, I want to become a fashion designer. Right? Somebody might say, okay, I want to be the next Swiggy or the next Oyo Rooms or whatever it is. No? Why so much of buzz? Okay, fine. Something has got triggered in your mind. I'm happy it has happened. So you see, we have other dreams. Today, engineering is like 10th class. Okay, we all do it because we have to do it. After that starts our life. Now, please align your engineering with what you want to do in life. Just one example before I move forward. Let's say somebody is very interested in doing something innovative in travel and has an engineering degree. Right? Now you will see what all technologies you have learned here, whatever you have picked up here. Can you apply all that to making travel and tourism very interesting and exotic in India? Right? You can do it, I'm sure. You don't have to be an entrepreneur 100%, but the thought process for doing that has to start in your classroom. That is the second part. That is the skill part of it. You are applying your knowledge to solve a problem. Okay, now come to the third part. The third part is, since things are changing and AI and robotics and data science, so many things are every day all around us. ChatGPT doing this, will my job go away? By the time I graduate, what kind of a job will I have? Can I take a home loan? Can I get this? Okay, all these thoughts, right? Things will keep changing. So I have to be a very strong person. How does that come? It comes from engineering college. Okay, it doesn't come from your classroom, directly from the book. You have to start talking to people, you have to learn on your own. What are these skills like critical thinking, problem solving, strategic thinking, communication, confidence, perseverance, okay, grit, determination. All these are listed as World Economic Forum's 21st century skills, which are also partly employability skills. Okay, so this is the third part. And the fourth and the most important part, which I would like to close, is the faculty. Okay, if the faculty is not empowered, how is the change going to happen? They are the pillars on whom the entire establishment is built. So we should give them opportunities to empower themselves, to go to industry, get the recent knowledge. So it's not like the engineering faculty are the people, who are doing a routine job. No, life is not routine for anyone, right? Actually, it is changing every day. So we need to give them that opportunity. So these are the 4 points from the education point of view. Before closing this, I would just say the education policy, that is NEP 2020, indirectly is talking about these changes to be brought into engineering colleges to make it more holistic, multidisciplinary, inclusive, and so on and so forth. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, what is the technological systems which we are going to see presently what is happening? Maybe JSRK will give some glimpse of it, what type of factories is going to be, what type of systems like electric vehicle or whatever the dimensions, what are the content in that, how the manufacturing is happening, how many people are going to work in the manufacturing, and how really the products is, how the mining is happening, or otherwise all of us is recently get very fascinated about Chandrayaan, all these dimensions. What are that mechanical systems and electronics and AI and all that algorithms, everything, how really these systems is now getting built from a mechanical control system to the multi-dimensional technological systems.
I think
ట్రై చేస్తున్నాను. ఒక 5 నిమిషాలు ఉంటే. సార్ ముందు ప్లాన్లో లేదు ఇది. సార్
and where the person will have a system which is connected to the cloud, and then from where he can connect to his mobile and he can use some a lens where he can look at the particular system what he is wherever it is. And if he doesn't have a solution where he can communicate through the picture and video to the control system, the central system, where the central team can guide him, okay, if he is doing some X to Y or Y to X, and maybe there is some change in that parameter, so this is how you have to control. At the same time, in digital maintenance, where normally people while they are doing maintenance and they have a lot of things that are hands dirty, and they cannot look at the mobile or maybe any other things that they want to use it. So we have identified solutions where the text to voice. So I'll just do a command that okay, so what I'm supposed to do for this particular problem to fix this, and I get a voice information and commands and communication where my that connected to our cloud systems, and then that passes through him what is the next step that he is supposed to do. So there are a lot of systems that have been in today which are already there. So that's why I said there are current problems that are being fixed through the disruptive technologies and which is ongoing, and there are something which is in the near future. And I think you all might be read the very recent news that Elon Musk has started inducting a chip into the brain of a human, right? So that is going to be the next 10 years to 20 years. So I don't know how many brains having those chips and what they are going to do, and what the next. So I think we are already almost done with cloud and all these things. So we already reached to the stage where how to connect it to the devices, to the systems, central systems, and how you upload data, etc. All these things are done, and digital twins, and then creating the virtual systems and supporting that.
Yeah. Now let us take to the next dimension. What I will take. What type of skills and capabilities is needed for the coming years? So let us see what is the type of capabilities is needed for the coming, the present need of the industry, right from the mechanical and various dimensions to the IT and all that type of jobs and the required capabilities. What is needed? Now the world is talking about capabilities. What is meaning of capabilities? No longer certain education and skills or the knowledge. What is that is needed? First is mindset. What type of mindset which we have, that is whether it's suitable to develop something and do something, whether I have a growth mindset or whether I have a curiosity to do the things, and what is that I am the mind or we believe. That is mindset means what I believe. The second is what type of practices I am following, what type of way I am doing the things. That is the second dimension. The third dimension is what type of technologies I am using. So all these three together is now the industry is talking about capabilities. Now what type of capabilities is needed for various industries? Again, talk from the senior post or the highest designers or developers or the visualizers or whatever it may be to build the new systems. That is one dimension. The second dimension is to deploy the systems, is the second dimension. The third dimension is to maintain the systems. That is where three dimensions which I feel is a various jobs is going to be. One is the people who will be able to visualize and develop the new systems. The second is the people who are able to implement the systems which is already planned. The third is the one which will be maintaining the systems in order to get the results. So these are the three dimensions. For that, what type of capabilities one should have? Maybe we'll take it very quickly. The next speaker also is here. So Prasad, you start. From mechanical or the general industry perspective.
What you're talking about, the three dimensions, three level of deployments, majority of the industries fall under the first level of system, that is only the usage of the systems. So the skill levels required for that one should not be very critical, like you don't need a engineer level of operators, but a diploma or even ITI guys could do that level of operating equipments or anything. Maybe for the second level and the third level, that is where you need in the real engineers. Probably that is where you need to upskill, as I was previously mentioning. Upskilling is what you require for industries where the people who opt for that sort of industries. Especially when if you are a mechanical engineer, sound fundamentals are very critical requirement that you have to be anyway be good at that one. Over and above that one, now you have to be. It is said that you have to learn one language. So it's not the technical. It's not the. The computer language. You should be good with any of the computer language, and you should be able to pick up additional subjects in terms of electronics, the communications, and even in the sensors and usage of automation, because automation is going to be the next future thing. Automation is not just the mechanical part. Automation, majority of the thing will be in the IT, there's electronics, sensors, and the integration of all these things with the system. So these are the things probably which could help you in getting into the next level of operations. But before all these things, as Madrigal was telling, the fundamental thing what anybody should be having is the cognitive skills. So unfortunately, today we don't have the thinking capability, mostly because of the biased inputs or the propaganda or whatever it is. We don't have the individual thinking, and as Suresh Garu was mentioning this, with the new onset of the neural links, which is the chip implanted in your brain, probably even thinking also becomes rare, I think. We are talking about artificial intelligence because in the future days, human intelligence becomes rare. With the neural link and with the chip implanted in the brain, probably do you need really all this information and this education when you can download the whole information from the cloud? That's a big challenge that we need to question. But fundamentally, what we need to have is, what I personally look for is the cognitive skills, and the second one is the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yeah. So just to complement the other points which we heard till now, so I would feel that what I just said earlier was in terms of the 21st century skills which are going partly into employability or the cognitive sphere and things like that. But now I would like to add a couple of more dimensions. This is mostly for students. See, we all live in what is known as attention economy. Okay, today it's nothing but everybody is trying to get a bit of your time, right? There is social media all over, people are watching reels, people are doing this, that. So basically everybody is asking for your attention. So in other words, the impact of this on our brain is very serious, whether we realize it or not. Can you believe we are kind of going into a zone where we cannot focus for long? Okay, if you compare your generation with the kind of time to focus you have and compare it with my generation, I think our curriculum, our syllabus demanded that we focus so much for so many hours because we had only one TV for the whole family at home. I'm just giving you a small example. There were no distractions. Whereas with your generation, it's a totally different world, right? So this requires another set of skills. It could mean focusing skills, it could mean trying to be very determined about what you want to do. Like I told you, the grit, the perseverance, and never giving up. See, these are skills which are needed for everybody. It's not just for you here, or it could be in your personal life also. So somehow with your engineering curriculum, you should make it a point that you get these skills by watching YouTube videos, by watching movies, by reading books, or whatever. Okay, so see to it that you are a more balanced person at the end of the curriculum with these skills which may not be there in your textbooks right now. But I hope they come into your part of the curriculum. And just to wind up this, I would say, again, I'm tying it up with the role of engineering colleges in society. I think the application part of it, the applied learning that I was saying, could be for something like the area which is around you, okay? In the place where you live, what kind of solutions can you come up with for your projects? Rather than going and sitting in an MNC and looking at something which they do, try to come up with solutions which are very local, very much pertaining to your area, your place of living or your life. I think that will have a more impact, and that is real education for me today. Thank you.
I like to conclude with the basic fundamental: listen, discuss, and debate, and implement. I think that is the implementation part is something which is missing, which has to come from the basics, right? So where you are starting your career, and then you can be part of as a groups, and then do some innovation within the premise what you have, and within the limits what you are. So that is still is acceptable, and then conclude that okay, this is what I can do, and then this is what I have done during my college days. So that is something is missing. I think we are just coming out with saying that okay, I know this language. Languages are not going to be anymore is a key strengths of anybody. That is the basics, and this part of the DNA of an engineer. So what is next is most important. That's what your focus should be. Thank you.
Coming to electronics and communication, now we have to look fundamental subjects now have been changed. ARM technologies, building algorithms, data communication, modern data communication technologies and networks, these become fundamental. So you have to start from there. Then as a designer, the other approach is the ability to mathematically solve through modern approach the traditional problem, any problem. So imagine all you have is sense, communicate, analyze and act. Algorithms will be everywhere. In the sensors, in the communication technologies, either you are building some contextual algorithm on the application software or even the control system, it's all algorithms. So algorithms is the fundamental now for any designer. The second is the, like Sir is saying, determination and all are other things. The necessity to practice more on all these technologies, basic technologies, spending more time in lab, understanding behavior through experimentation is going to be much more important rather than studying some theory. So start with ARM, start with FPGA programming, not some chip design or something. Work on the modern technologies, work on the design principles around sensor systems and how to capture data. And also there is very much opportunity on the fail-safe systems in India. Satish Reddy is there. Almost every year India is spending 1 lakh crore on importing the technology for fail-safe systems into country. 1 lakh crore. That is the kind of opportunity you have. So to build those kind of systems, these are fundamental.
Yeah, to conclude or take it to the direction, what is the role of engineering colleges? What is going to be the future roles? Is it going to be teaching something and then getting examination, giving a degree is going to be the end? In my opinion, it may not be. The reason is now the people can learn from anywhere and get degrees from anywhere. And what should be there in the engineering college? What are the things has to be inside the engineering college? One is the people should, whoever is joining into the engineering college, whether they have only this option to join in the engineering college, whether they have multiple options. Once they come into the engineering college should be capable of identifying their intrinsic talent and what their motivational factors and what they want to become, and based on that what type of training or what type of skills they have to provide. That's one dimension of it. Then when they want to build any system, understand the holistic system, it's no longer a minor systems or the minor experiments. Experiments is needed for every small things, but these all has to be integrated and see as a holistic system to do experiments and understand the behavior of in a multiple bigger way in a combination of systems. So for that also we need to have a platforms or the technology should be available in the college so that the new dimensions or the old dimensions can be tested inside the college. So the entire dimensions of the engineering colleges need to be changed in order to produce the real people. Unfortunately, if I had to put a comment in a brutal way, we are only trying to make ITIs in the engineering college, almost ITIs. Yeah, 1 year back when I met a union minister of IT, he said in India entire thing is only 1.5 lakh programmers are there. We have 50 lakh people working in all IT companies, and we have only 1.5 lakh programmers is there in India. That's where very less number, and it is a very challenging thing. Other side of the change situation is we need everywhere algorithms. That means we need more and more programmers who can build the programmers. Unfortunately, we are not building the programmers. We are talking about more mathematical models of which is a 30-40 years back with the differential equations and all, which is not really practicing today. All that syllabus has to be revamped. The syllabus, unfortunately, though people are talking about the new dimensions of technology, everything needs to be brought into the digital systems and digital technologies in every area. That is missing in the syllabus, and how to deal with that is missing. So again, the faculty need to be get into all this understanding of what is the new technological dimensions, what they have to do it, and what are that dimensions has to be done. And last, this thing is that from the student perspective, what you want to be. You have to be sincere yourself. So what motivates you? The motivation is whether it's a money, whether it is a recognition, whether it is a power, or it's a fear. So what is that motivating? But that all four motivations will not make you anything. But the motivation should be the things what I want to achieve as a purpose. So for that, we need to have mastery in the areas, whatever you have to do it. That means perfection is needed in that area. The next is you need to have independent thinking. I am able to think differently and different solution I want to bring it rather than imitating from Google or ChatGPT or something, and I am going to be one among the people. Then you are not going to be the developers, you are not going to build the new systems. You need to only look into what has to be your differentiator. The differentiator is I am different, I am going to develop new thing. That's where the higher level activities. Otherwise, I am not worried about reaching to that. I want to live a peaceful life with a few skills and do few things. That is also all right. Otherwise, if you are not interested to do anything also, maybe in coming years, maybe after 10-20 years, governments will feed the required money to live at least minimum life requirements. Already the governments are giving 4 lakhs, 4,000, 5,000 rupees. But that is going to be there and it's going to increase because all factories is going to be modernized with the robotic manufacturing and all. We may not need that many number of people to build this type of things. So that's not a problem. But if you want to do something, you need to have full sincerity in doing whatever it may be. Think very clearly what I am, what I want to achieve. Not for the parents' sake or the society's sake and all, but I need to think what I have to be. I think with that dimensions, if any one of you add any of the few points, let us conclude it in 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, looking at the future of the education, what I would think is there has to be a total change in the system of the universities. Like, it's not that it's a classroom teaching, as Ramakrishna was saying, nothing is going to work out. What I talk about is additive learning. So you need to have the basic fundamentals, and the first thing is why you are joined engineering college, and why you are joined a mechanical or electronics engineer, why you are choosing your discipline. You have to be clear about that one. What is your purpose? That's a fundamental thing where you have to be very clear on that one. So once when your purpose is very clear, then the rest of things, everything will fall in line. Without the clarity on the purpose, why you are joined in engineering college, why you want to do engineering college, rest of things will be, you will be just following the mass thing. The concept of additive learning is, you join in the first year, you have the specific project. The basic fundamentals have to be learned before you come into that level. But once when you come to that level, you have to know what is your final objective. Suppose if you are a mechanical engineer, the first objective is, suppose if you have to make a machine tool or an hydraulic equipment or a automobile, that should be your first objective. And then you drill down to how to make this equipment by the end of you complete the course. By the time you complete the course, you have to complete this project. In the process, what you'll pick up a lot of subjects. You'll have the urge to learn the things. And colleges should never be going to be a lecture sort of things. It has to be a place of experimenting and experiencing, and it has to be a place of debate, discussions. And last time I was discussing the same thing in the academic meeting, council meeting. I told it has to be a reverse learning process, a reverse questioning process. The student should ask questions, should question the lecturer, not the lecturer questioning the students. It has to be a reverse process, so that they will be really prepared, they will be really learning. And that is the most important thing. Another thing is, universities and institutes, industries cannot exist separately, because technology is coming, will first impact the industries, and we need trainers for training the industry people as well as the trainers in the colleges. So the first thing it has to be trained is the trainers, who will in turn train upskill the industry people, industry people, and then by the time the technology flows to the subject, I don't know whether it's going to be still there in the continuity or not, because the technologies keep changing faster. So it has to be totally a collaboration of industry and institutes in addressing these challenges.
Hello.
Okay, thank you be part of these celebrations, and I want to conclude with Telugulo సామెత ఉంది, నదులన్నీ వచ్చి సముద్రంలో కలుస్తాయి. So whatever the stream that an individual takes during their career, right? So during the student first year, by completion of the fourth year, you all want to choose IT, right? So okay, that's good. If you are interested, you can take. But it is not that, okay, you have to take for some reason, right? So it should be go by your perception and then interest. That's most important. And in each stream also you have a potential to grow and then to build successful careers as well. So that's my thank you.
To conclude, to build these skills, at least the fundamental skills as required, first all ECE and EEE students dump your Arduino boards and Raspberry Pis in dustbin. Work from soldering your own circuit, writing your own piece of code for different problems, not already written programs by hacking and doing it. That doesn't give you any skill. So start practicing on new problems, do your own boards, do your own circuits and all. And always keep in mind any end system in place, like Sir is talking about the end system. Have that end system in place, try to build those skills necessary to build that. So maybe one is college has to become a facilitator for experimentation rather than teaching the student. You can also bring in industry collaboration to improve the teaching learning practices also. That's my input.
Thank you all. All of you for patiently spending time here. Of course, it's a big subject which we can't do it justice in a short period. Thank you all for the.
we bring our enlightening discussion with our esteemed panelists to a close, I extend my sincere thanks to each of them for their invaluable contributions. Your expertise and insights have illuminated our understanding of engineering colleges and their role in society in the view of latest disruptions. Let us express our gratitude by presenting mementos to the panel members. I request Dr. Nageswara Vallumuri Chairman to come on the dais, and I also request Sri Musunuru Srinivasrao Co-Chairman, Sri Vallurpalli Satyanarayana Rao Secretary and Correspondent, and Sri Vallurpalli Ramakrishna Co-Secretary and Correspondent to join us on the dais. I request also all the panelists to come on to the dais. I request Dr. Nageswara Vallumuri Chairman to present memento to Sri Dasari Ramakrishna Garu. Sir, please accept our token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. I request Sri Musunuru Srinivasrao Co-Chairman to represent memento to Sri JSRK Prasad sir. Now I request Sri JSRK Prasad sir to receive a memento. Thank you, sir. I request Sri Vallurpalli Satyanarayana Rao, Secretary and Correspondent, to present memento to Sri Suresh Babu Barra. Sir, please accept our token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. I request Sri Vallurpalli Ramakrishna, Coordinate and Correspondent, to present a memento to Mr. Bhavani Shankar. Sir, please accept our token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. I extend my special thanks to Sri Dasari Ramakrishna, moderator of this panel discussion, and all the panel members, Sri JSRK Prasad, Sri Suresh Babu Borra, Dr. Madhuri Dubey, and Mr. Bhavani Shankar for spending their time and sharing their knowledge to us. Also, I would like to express gratitude to all the attendees for their active participation. Your presence here has made this event truly meaningful. Thank you all for your time and presence. Panel discussion 2 will be concluded.
The students are requested to take your snacks and be here within 15 minutes.
Additionally, he held executive, managerial and directorial positions as General Manager in the Departments of Information and Broadcasting and Telecommunications of the Government of India. He was the founding chairman and managing director of India's Overseas Communications Corporation, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, and was the president of Institution of Electronic and Telecom Engineers. Moreover, he was the governor Intelsat Washington and executive director in Inmarsat London. He was a senior expert of the International Telecommunications Union in Guyana and Yemen and was engaged by the CIDA Canada for writing the Green Paper for restructuring of telecoms in South Africa and for drafting information and communications policy in Nepal. Also, he was a member of the Prime Minister of India's National Task Force on Information Technology and Software in 1998 to 99. In several capacities, he travelled 75 times to over 80 countries, including the former USSR and People's Republic of China. Dr. T.H. Chowdhury was an Information Technology Advisor in the rank of Minister of State to the Government of Andhra Pradesh, mentoring the state's extensive programmers for e-governance, government to citizen services, e-seva, establishment of internet IOS, computer education in schools and colleges and broadband applications. He is the chairman of governing body of Bankatlal Bhadrika College for Information Technology, Hyderabad, Vignan Slara Engineering College, Dhanikola Engineering College, Vijayawada. And he is the chairman of Pragna Bharati Intellect India, a think tank and a platform for intellectuals in the 2 Telugu states for deliberations on socio-political, economic, educational and development issues confronting India. He was a visiting faculty in a number of universities in India, USA, Denmark and held classes for the RTTC engineer recruits. He is the author of several books and monthly journals on telecommunications information, technology, Indian culture and politics and editor member, board of editors of several national and international journals. Also, he received many honors for his outstanding contribution to his field and to the society. He received the L.V. Ramaya Award in 1989 for distinguished service to society through telecoms and conferred a doctorate by the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, Hyderabad in 1999. He is one of the eminent 5 engineering personalities who were felicitated by the Institution of Engineers at its 15th Indian Engineering Congress in 2000. He is the recipient of Pratibha Puraskar Award from Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust in 2011, received Navbharat Cooperative Urban Banks Award for distinguished social service in 2016. Dr. T.H. Chowdhury received India's prestigious Padma Shri Award on 26 January 2017 and the Lifetime Achievement Award from Hyderabad Software Exports Association in 2019. Added to these awards, he also received Dr. Y. Naidamma Memorial Award in 2019, Lifetime Achievement Award from Voice and Data in 2021 and another Lifetime Achievement Award from Hyderabad Management Association in 2022. We are elated to have him here today as a special guest. May I now request today's special guest, Dr. T. Hanuman Chowdhury, to share his thoughts on this special occasion.
Namaskar. May I request my fellow co-presidents also to please come here.
The next distinguished panelist to honor us with her presence is Dr. Sunaina Singh, former Vice Chancellor, Nalanda University and Advisor, Research and Innovation Association of Universities of Asia and Pacific.
And Sri Malkonde Garu. Next one.
Now I request Ms. Priyanka to introduce Dr. Sunaina Singh to the audience.
Sri Malkonde Garu, please come. For the former Director General of Police. Please sit down.
Good afternoon everyone, I am Priyanka. I feel elated to introduce Dr. Sunaina Singh to you. Dr. Singh is a distinguished academic and a widely acknowledged prominent leader in the higher education governance in the Asian region. With decades of expertise in taking up diverse challenges in executive management, capable with building organizational networks, research collaborations and policy creation, as a strategic thought leader, she has held several leadership positions at national and international levels prior to serving as the Vice Chancellor of Nalanda University a globally acclaimed historical university with the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Her contributions are widely acclaimed as an institutional builder. Some of her key contributions are: she is extensively accredited for rebuilding the illustrious historical Nalanda University in its new avatar from literally a ground zero reality in 2017. In a span of 5 years, she embarked on creating the foundations of a sustainable global model of borderless learning ethos. As the Vice Chancellor of the English and Foreign Languages University, Professor Singh has played a critical role in creating innovative research clusters, reinvigorating the academic culture, streamlining the administration, establishing academic audit, effective disciplinary process, revitalizing the policies, and bringing about transparency and accountability into the system. As the Vice President of Indian Council of Cultural Relations, she was given the distinct honor to strengthen the cultural and education relations between India and the other countries. She contributed towards preserving the landscape of rich Indian knowledge, traditions, art and cultural heritage, and interlacing it into the fabric of global understanding and connectivity through its different centers across the world. Dr. Sunaina Singh is also a board member for several distinguished national and international institutions and corporate companies that include General Council member Sahitya Academy, Advisory Council member and also Advisory for Research and Innovation Committee at Association of Universities of Asia and the Pacific, Academic Advisor, National Cyber Safety and Security Standards, Member of Executive Council at Central University of Tamil Nadu, Expert Committee member Commonwealth Academic Fellowships, Member of the Working Group on Higher Education and Research, India-New Zealand Education Council, nominated by the MHRD, Government of India. UGC Expert Committee member for Postdoctoral Fellowship for Women 2011. She is also a recipient of many awards. A few of them are Ambassador for Peace by the Universal Peace Federation, Leadership for Net Zero Endeavour Award by Indo-American Green University Network, New York, World's Best Emerging Leader, WCR INT and the Malcolm McDonald Academy, London, Innovation Leadership Award 2022 by Indie Global Media Network, Global Leader of the Year by Asia One, London, International Education Award 2018 by NWSI, British Parliament, House of Lords, London, Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Excellence Award, Bharat Shiksha Ratan Award by Global Society for Health and Education, Education Leadership Award by World Education Congress, Bharat Gaurav Award by IAFS, Postdoctoral Faculty Research Award, University of Toronto, Canada, Award by International Canadian Council, DFAIT, Government of Canada, Commonwealth Academic Staff Scholarship, England Award for Doctoral Research, Vishwakavi Rabindranath Tagore Award by Oriental Heritage 2020, Innovative Vice Chancellor of the Year by Asia Today 2020, Most Admired Woman in Education Sector by Knowledge Review 2019. Above all, Professor Sunaina Singh has always worked towards setting new benchmarks in both personal and public spheres. She continues to touch many hearts and inspires many minds. Madam, we are glad to be in your presence today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Priyanka. Now I would like to invite G. Nitin Roy to introduce M. Malkondaya sir to the audience.
Good afternoon to one and all, respected dignitaries and honorable panelists. I am G. Nitin Roy from 2nd BTech. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce one of our esteemed panelists on this today. He is none other than Dr. Mannam Malkondaya IPS, retired IPS, and he is also the former Director General of Police for the Andhra Pradesh.
Thank you. नमस्कार, आप सब बोलिए नमस्कार। ये नमस्कार जोर से। That's good. Not good evening.
He is a native of Naladalpur village and he completed his schooling in Naladalpur village and followed by BSc in agriculture. In 1984, he worked in banking sector as Corporation Bank as agricultural officer. Later on in 1985, he cleared the prestigious examination of our nation, the Civil Services Examination of UPSC. And later, he joined in the Indian Police Service. He was first posted as Additional Superintendent of Police in Mulugu district, and later he was posted as Superintendent of Police in Guntur district. He worked very effectively and very efficiently in times of elections as a police officer. He also worked as HRD of Police Department, and he also worked in Anti-Corruption Bureau and Transport. He worked as Superintendent of Police for 3 districts and Deputy Inspector General for 2 districts in his range. Later, he worked as MD of RTC and as Director General of Police for the Andhra Pradesh. He shows keen interest in academics. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable presence on this wonderful occasion. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, Nitin Roy. Without any delay, now I request Dr. T. Hanuman Chaudhary to moderate the panel discussion.
Not only will I moderate, but I will start the discussion itself. Let me first let you know one fact about education in our country. For 368 posts of tunes in Uttar Pradesh, 23 lakhs of people applied. What is that? For 368 tunes jobs, 368 tunes jobs, 23 lakh persons applied to the 255 of them have doctorates in engineering, science and commerce. 1,50,000 are graduates. 25,000 have master's degree. 24,969 are postgraduates. 11.21 lakhs are SSCs. And 53,426 are class 5 pass. 368 posts of tunes, 23 lakh applications. Is this not a staggering figure? Is this not a staggering figure? Is this the education that we have been having so that PhDs apply for tunes posts in the secretariat? We will see whether there is an answer or not. There is a famous saying in Sanskrit, Shariramadhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. It is the first duty of every person to see that your body is sound, that you are physically well off, either by yourself or a husband of a wife or the head of a family. First you must be economically well off. Shariramadhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Best dharma is first of all to look after yourself. There is a second saying, Namityena tarpaniyo manushyaha. Man is not satisfied by wealth alone. Man is not satisfied by wealth alone. Namityena tarpaniyo manushyaha. So we have to see how to wade through these two ideologies of first you look after yourself and the second you look after what will happen after you as a man. Now friends, I will take you through some of the wonderful ideas about education. In 1947 when we became independent, the literacy was 18%. 18 people out of 100 people can they read their name, write their name, etc. That's called literacy. Today we have got 75% of them who can do so. But in countries which became independent much later than India, like Korea or Malaysia or Indonesia or any other country, their literacy is more than 90-95%. That means the one great thing that we did not do after independence was the education of our people. Now I will give you certain lofty ideas about education. Education is a liberating force, enables the individual to rise from mere materiality to superior planes of intellectual and spiritual consciousness. Man is not an animal. He is a spiritual being. He is the reflection of God Himself. Education gives us accumulated lessons of heritage, of heritage. You are not starting your life or civilization and society just right away. Heritage to carry it forward to posterity, to the future generations. The past is our foundation, the present our material, the future our aim and summit. Each must have its due and natural place in a national system of education. Who is this? Aurobindo, says Aurobindo. We want that education by which character is formed. If you lose the character, you lose everything. Therefore, character is to be formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, by which one can stand on one's own feet. Education is a manifestation of the perfection already in man. We are created in the image of God. When we are born, all are equal, and it is God's creation. This is Swami Vivekananda. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the great statesman of India, I firmly believe the efficacy of the education as a panacea for our social ills, the cure for our social evils of untouchability gone, of caste, of regionalism, of linguism. For all these, the remedy is education. That's Dr. Ambedkar. Education should, this is the Commission on Education, what it says, education should address the problems of national development, particularly issues concerning like self-reliance, economic growth, employment, and the social and national integration. Social and national integration. Social integration means fraternity, brotherhood, irrespective of caste, and the social and the national integration. I am a Telugu one, I am a Dravidian, I am a East Indian, I am a North Indian, etc. It is not that I am a Bharatiya. That is the integration. Education is visualized as an evolutionary force. Evolution doesn't come one day. It evolves so that each individual is enabled to evolve from purely material consciousness. When the child is hungry, then he wants the mother to settle. Similarly, when you are hungry, you have the mother to feed, etc. So, a force that each individual is enabled to evolve from purely material consciousness towards superior planes of intellectual and spiritual consciousness. That's the Education Commission of India in 1969. Now, Gurus sculpt. Who is a sculptor? He takes a stone, just like some Karnataki person took a stone and got Ram Lalla. Similarly, a teacher takes a person who does not know anything and then makes him a Radhakrishnan or an Einstein. Now, see, Sandipani and Krishna, where did Krishna learn? He went to Sandipani Ashrama, Gurukula. He went to Sandipani Ashrama, and what did he become? A Jagat Guru. He went to the ashrama. We are having ashramas now, Gurukulas, but they are anything but Sandipanis. Drona was engaged by the Kurus and the Pandavas. Drona was the great master of archery, of all weapons. He became a tutor. The tutor was called, the excellent professor was engaged by the Kauravas and the Pandavas to teach them what happened? To kill one another. So, a tutor, he has not given education. He has given expertise. He has given the skills to wield weapons and kill one another. That's what happens if Doda type of teacher, if tutors are there from childhood onwards in order to get admission to engineering colleges or IAS or IPS, etc., etc. Aristotle and Alexander When Alexander, 323 BC, he wanted to conquer India and was coming to India, he went to his master Aristotle. Sir, I am going to India. What shall I bring for you? Anybody can say? He said, bring me a pail of Ganga water. Aristotle, he told Alexander, the world conqueror, we are going to India. I don't want any treasure. I don't want diamonds like that Bahman of Ghazni, but I want a pail of Ganga water. The job of the master is not merely to bequeath a store of knowledge to his pupils, but to instill in them a thirst for truth, hunger for truth, jignasa. What is this? What is this? Truth and inspiration, and drill them in proper methods of research. Proper methods of research, not by copying, by going into the internet and then doing somebody else's thesis as your own. 70% of living Nobel laureates are teaching in the United States universities. 70%. That's why in science he is the master. Therefore, gurus, therefore teachers, this is by A.L. Basham. He is a Holland native, teaching first in Indonesia, afterwards in the National University of Canberra, where she has gone recently. Dr. King has gone to Perth, the capital of the Western Australia, for an international conference about Indo-Pacific community, etc. So he was teaching at the National University of Canberra, Dr. A.L. Basham. We have got central universities, state universities, private universities. Is there any national university? Madam, is there any national university in India? None. In Tirupati, only one Sanskrit National University is there. So I am saying there should be some national universities which will integrate the people of this country, which will remind us of the great past of us, a civilizational state. Now, we visionaries for a country and nation must give an inspiring account of the or entrepreneurship. Now in this Abraham Lincoln, you see, the words of the great people, they inspire us. That's why I am giving these quotations. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging thrift. Thrift means saving. I started my career after passing competitive examinations and becoming a class 1 gadget officer at 440 rupees per month. I was a class 1 gadget officer in the Department of Telecommunications at 440 rupees. My wife used to save 100 rupees out of that one. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging theft. So my wife saved 100 rupees out of 440 rupees, and when you taken it to some amount, she purchased a almirah. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot help the poor by destroying the rich. That's what is happening in Andhra Pradesh. You cannot establish a sound security on borrowed money, borrow until you are borrowed on the borrowed money. You cannot keep out trouble by spending more than you earn. That's the budgets of so many governments. You cannot build character and courage by taking away man's initiative and independence. Man initiative means to doing the right thing without being told. That's what is called initiative, especially in government, to do the right thing without being told or ordered. By taking away man's initiative and independence, you cannot help men permanently by doing for them what they could do for themselves. I have been suggesting to the governments of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and some other states which are held borrowing and distributing that money by pressing the buttons. Timor corporations, sir, you make state marriages corporations. Even afterwards, the government will undertake to marry, to get a husband or a wife to everybody who is not married. A corporation, surrogacy corporation. There are so many girls who are doing the IT jobs and so many jobs also. Even when they are pregnant, they do not want to show that they are pregnant. Therefore, they give the child, embryo, to somebody else. That's what is called surrogacy. There are private surrogacy corporations, number of them in Hyderabad. A state to start surrogacy corporation. And then a festivity corporation. Some people are saying you don't have children. They are going to private companies. So the state, with these three corporations, some of the governments in the state governments in India would be taking care of the persons from the womb to the tomb, and we need not do anything. Now, is that the purpose of education? Now, you cannot build character and courage by taking away man's initiative. You cannot help men permanently by doing for them what they themselves can do. That was the Rajaji's and the Swatantara Party's idea was least government. Government should do what people cannot do. Whereas now, people need not do anything. Government will do everything. Lincoln's letter to the teacher. So wonderful. You know, Abraham Lincoln, from a log cabin to the White House. Once he and his adversary were addressing a meeting of voters in a church. So his adversary said, "Oh, if you do this, you will go to hell. If you do this, you will go to heaven." All those people who want to go to heaven raise their hands. Some people raise their hands. All those people who want to go to hell raise their hands. If you raise their hands. Abraham Lincoln did not raise any hand. Then his adversary said, "How can you elect a man who cannot decide? He cannot decide whether to go to heaven or hell." Abraham Lincoln replied, "I want to go to White House." What is White House? The President of the United States of America. Right? That's what is called decision. You can, my son, he is asking the teacher, my son will have to learn. I know. But all men are not just. All men are not true. But teach him also that for every scoundrel there is a hero. That for every selfish politician, plenty of them in India, there is a dedicated leader like Modi. Teach him that for every enemy there is a friend. It will take time, I know, but teach him if you can that $1 earned is far more valuable than 5 found in the street or given to you by pressing of a button. $1 earned is better than $5 which you will get from by DBT. It will take time, I know, but teach him, if you can, that $1 earned. Teach him to learn, to lose, and also enjoy winning. Steer him away from envy if you can. Teach him the secret of quiet laughter. Let him learn early that the bullies are the easiest to lick. Teach him, if you can, the wonder of books. The wonder, the greatest wealth that a man can possess is a library of self-acquired books. That also give him quiet time to ponder over external mystery. Look at the birds, look at how they fly, how the Kolleji Kongalu, they are coming from the northern pole over tens of thousands of kilometers and leaving at Kolleju and then going there. How do they do that navigation, etc.? But also give him quiet time to ponder over the eternal mystery of birds in the sky, of bees in the sun, and flowers and green hills. In school, teach him it is far more honorable to fail than to cheat. Teach him to have faith in his own ideas, even if everyone tells him they are all wrong. These are all the values of education. Teach him to be gentle with the gentle people and tough with the tough people. Try to give my son the strength not to follow the crowd. You can always follow the crowd. There is not much here in looking at someone's rear. This is another poem. You can always follow the crowd. There is not much here in looking at someone's buddhi. Teach him to listen to all men, but teach him also to filter all the babes on a screen of truth and take only the good that comes. Teach him, if you can, how to laugh when he is sad. Teach him there is no shame in tears. Teach him to scoff at cynics and to beware too much sweetness. Teach him to close his ears to a howling mob and to stand and fight, If he thinks he is right, treat him gently, but do not cuddle him, because only the test of fire makes fine steel and gold. Let him have the patience to brave. Teach him always to have sublime faith in himself, because then he will always have sublime faith in mankind. If you don't have faith in yourself, you cannot have faith in mankind. I always think that tomorrow is going to be better than today. That is why even at 93 I think I am a young man. This is a big order. But see what you can do, which is such a fine little fellow, my son. Friends, I tell you my own thing. When I used to walk from Mangalore to Gudivada for the high school. And I don't know what tomorrow's examination subject will be. I used to write. Somebody told me I was coming first in the 5th class and in the 6th was the SSLC. So in that Gudivada board high school, they used to put the better people A, B, C, D, then E, B, C, etc. I was assigned to a class where the teacher, whose photo is there in my house always, was reputed. Some people in Gudivada told me, if you go to his class, you will fail. You have been coming first, but if you go to his class, you will fail. So immediately I went to my headmaster, B. Seshacharya of Gudivada. Sir, I don't want to go to his class. Yes, I agree. But have you ever gone to his class? No. All right, today you go, listen in the first hour, and afterwards if you tell me I don't want to go to that, I will put you in another class. So I went to my teachers, whom everybody said was such a idiot that you would fail, and after that class is over, 40 minutes, I ran to my Seshacharya Garu headmaster. Sir, I want to stay there only. He said, why do you want to stay there only? Sir, out of the 40 minutes, he taught me in the textbook for 20 minutes. For the other 20 minutes, how to laugh, how to smile, how to enter the class, how to wipe your face, how to stand, how to sit, how to greet. These are the things that he is teaching. I learned only that. That is, a teacher is a sculptor. He is taking a raw person from a village or from an idiotic family or an illiterate family and is making a good man. And he is my Guru. Guru Deva, Guru Brahma, Guru Parabrahma. That's what I treat him as. That is what a teacher should be. What our own sages have exalted us. Sahanavavatu sahadau bhunaktu sahavidyam karavavahaiha mavidvishavahaiha tejasvinavadita mattu. What does it mean? Sahanavavatu, together we will avatu, we will progress, we will protect ourselves. Sahanam bhunaktu, we will lead together. Sahana sahavidyam karavavahaiha, we will do noble deeds together. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, whatever you learn, let it be brilliant. Mahavidvishavahaiha, don't hate anybody, you may not love anybody, but don't hate anybody. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That's our value. Now how do we learn? Padam Gurubhya. It's only one quarter that you learn from the Guru. That's what I learned from the assistant when I went to the class teacher. And when he was teaching me only for a quarter of the 40 minutes, what is in the textbook, and the rest of the time, how to stand, how to sit, how to smile, how to wipe, how to tango, all this. So, Padam Brahmachari Diha, that is from the other stories. That is what is togetherness and sociability teaches. Padam Swamedhaya, from one's own intellect, which God has implanted in every one of us when He created us. Padam Kalakramena, by lifelong learning. And today it is helped by looking at the internet and the whatever facilities. Now, Ananda, what is the ultimate of life? It is Ananda. That's why everyone who has evolved, he is being ancient Ananda, Vivekananda, Dayananda, Siddhananda, Chinmayananda, Nanganananda, Alana Ananda. So what is the aim of human life? Ananda. And how do you get? By killing, by robbing, by being jealous, etc. No, not that. That's the values that you have to cultivate. Current situation of education, what is called skilling, we have educated persons with the degrees and diplomas, certificates, millions unemployed. Millions are unemployed. I have given the figure for how many posts, how many lakhs, millions have applied, PhDs, etc., etc. Graduate engineers, MA, BA, MBA, applying for Group D posts in UP, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and such states. To make the unemployed employable, what are we doing? Skilling. For the last 5-6 years, we are saying skilling, because they have got wonderful degrees. They are not getting employment because they lack skills. Skills of cheating others. Is it? Skills. Skill to talk well, to present well, to dress well, or what? Graduate engineers, MA, BA, MBA, applying for Group D posts to make the unemployable. We are training, sir, 15 lakh engineering graduates per year, 15 lakhs. The United States, with the world's largest GDP, trains only 70,000 engineers. China trains only 5 lakh engineering graduates per year. We are giving degree certificates to 15 lakhs of engineering graduates. According to the Niti Commission, 48% of them are not employable, according to the IT companies, not more than 15% of these 15 lakh engineering graduates are employable. Graduate engineers, MA, BA, MBA, applying it to make the ministry, we have created a ministry of skill development. Skill India is kill India. From unemployed, educated, certified but not qualified to certified and skilled but unemployed. Now, competitive examination, this is a worrisome development by UPSC for positions in IAS, IFS, IPS, IRS in regional languages. There is unity of unity. Telugu people will give you Telugu more marks and everybody will get 100% marks. Regional languages, including Urdu, which undermines national unity, promotes regionalism, communalism and dilution of talent in the all India. How many IAS people every year are recruited? Less than 1,000. If you take the factories producing, training them in Kota, in Hyderabad, China education, that means Chaitanya and Narayana is called China education. Day and night, that is Murgification. Mukkulo nunchi meta, Buddulo nunchi Buddu. That's what the poultry farms are. That's what this Narayana China training schools are. Undermines national unity, etc. CMOs and PMOs, the CMO and PMO, they obviously have a balloon like anything. Now every collector looks to CMO. What is the CMO wanting? I will do that one. No, he is not. If you take Jay Prakash Narayan in Andhra Pradesh, that man did wonderful things. What's the problem? What is the solution? Implement. Never ask the CMO or PMO or BMO or any other MO. PMO, they will hand down. I try to conclude this. Chaitanya Narayana, it is like training animals. Only animals can be trained. Human beings can be educated. Animals are trained. Less than 1,000 qualify for appointment. Now friends, to conclude, what is necessary is our Purushadhas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is the basis? The basis is Dharma. And what is it that you have to have? Artha. What does Chanakya's Artha mean? Chanakya is written a book on Artha Shastra. Whatever is required to live comfortably, that is called Artha. One of them is money, second is a wife, third is a family, etc. etc. Dharma, Artha. Therefore you must have Artha. Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhana. Dharma, Artha, Kama, desire. Everyone has got desire. Animals have got, human beings got, everybody has got a desire. Dharma, aviruddho bhuteshu kamaha. That's what the Bhagavad Gita says. That is, the kama, the desire that is not opposed to dharma, that is legitimate. That is legitimate. To have a wife is legitimate. But to do certain other things is not legitimate. Dharma, basis, artha, necessary, kama, desirable. What is it for? And the top is moksha. Liberation from the cycle of birth and death. That's what is required. Some aikyam, daivakyam, that is dissolution in the absolute itself. So, what is necessary is to cultivate and to know what is dharma, Dhanyavad. So, what is most important? Education. Education is very, very important. Countries that obtained freedom from foreign rule like Malaysia, Korea, which underwent and got destroyed, etc., etc., they, because of 100% education, they are having per capita incomes many more times than in India. The most criminal thing that independent India has done is neglect of education, quality education, and now we are giving that education instead of state. State's job is to educate persons, to look after health, to see that they can law and order, etc. Abdicating all these, deputy budget, button raja, every day, gave advertisement, the green, etc., etc. And the button raja is being completed by the army raja, that is not the parents also. He is also doing this one against his will. So, what's it, friends? Education is a great thing. It is a leveler. It brings society together. It brings nationalism. It brings your virtue, your comfort, that of the comfort, not at the discomfort of other people. That is education. So telecommunication or any other engineering, including artificial intelligence, is all to advance the comfort of people and not the dissolution of this planet. Planet Earth is the only planet where life, as you know, is possible, should not be destroyed. Samatulyata. Here I will stop. I will request my esteemed colleague and mentor also in a way, Sunaina. Naina is eye. Sunaina, very good eye. She has got very good eyes. She can find out who is listening, who is not listening, and who is thinking and who is not thinking. That's what a teacher does. So I request her to give her presentation, what she thinks of what education is. She was teaching at Nalanda, which was equivalent to Takshashila. These are the two universities, 2,000 years ago, which attracted the greatest brains from all over India to learn at the feet of Bharat Guru. Right.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar to everyone. I must begin by congratulating the students, the management, the founders of this engineering college on its Silver Jubilee celebrations. I thought I must begin by my congratulations, extending my congratulations to each one of you. This engineering college, this is my first visit to this particular region. Well, I have been many times to Vijayawada. I think the kind of education that is provided by this institution has transformed the region, has left an impact on the region, on the youngsters. You know, setting new benchmarks is what is essential.
Masari Marathi word to sit. Beso is Gujarati.
So, Hanuman Chaudhary Sahab is a great guru to everyone. You have seen how holistically he portrayed or sketched the journey of education, you know, right from the earliest times. What does it mean? What does it mean today? What did it mean earlier? I think we are positing today, and it's a very relevant question, the purpose of education. Let me, after the statistical data, I'm completely in awe of how he has presented the entire scenario. I have done that for UGC some time back, you know, giving the data on the number of universities and the degree awarding institutions that we have. But how many of us are actually educated, or are we merely literate? That is the question. So that's one. The other is, when we look at the purpose of education, what exactly is education? To my mind, it reflects the cultural and intellectual wealth of an individual, of a family, of an institution, or of a country. You know, that's how you portray yourself. That's the personality that comes out. You know, when you're truly educated. Sa vidya ya vimukte. You know, our culture says that education should liberate one from the egoistical or the vanity that seem to be corroding the intellectuals, you know. The more educated we are, the more vain we tend to become, and we lose humility. I think one of the key to education in India has been, how do we retain the humility, the humbleness? The more you learn, the more humble you are. The more you want to learn, because at the age of 93, he's already declared I'm the youngest person, and I'm sure all of us agree with that. Looking at him, he's an inspiration. And, you know, that is what education should be, you know. We don't stop learning. Whether at 93, 99, 100 or 50 or whatever be the age. And we start pretty young. From the womb of our mother, we start learning. And that sort of chisels your personality. Now let me, I thought I will just, since he has given us a very holistic perspective, let me just, you know, put some ideas in your head that you can carry with you and maybe think about it as to what did education mean to us, are we losing that meaning today? And where are we heading towards? While we produce the world's largest literates, the degree awarding institutions, the engineers, the brain power that we provide to the entire world is so heartening. And I've always been in favor of youngsters because I believe that's where the power of the world lies. That's where the strength of character lies. That's where originality and intellect, can come from. So how do you do that? Let me begin by giving you a small story from our own Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. You have the story of this little boy who is in quest of a guru. We belong to a culture where as students we were in quest of good gurus. These days we are in quest of institutions that can provide us jobs. So we will come to that a little later. So this little boy was looking for a guru, and he gets to know about a guru, and he goes and says, can I be your student? I would like to train with you. I would like to study. And the guru asks, what's your father's name? And the child says, well, I don't know what my father's name is. This 6-7-year-old kid says, I'll go and ask your mother. So he runs back to his hut and asks his mother, Mother, who is my father? What is the name? Because she says, why do you want to know? So he says, my guru, he wants to know my father's name and I don't know. She said, well, I don't know either. I served in many homes, I had many masters, so I don't know who your father is. So he says, what do I tell? Please go and tell this to your guru. So this little boy runs back to his guru and says, my mother says that she served in many homes, had many masters, and she doesn't know who my father is. The guru asks, what's your mother's name? He says, Jabala. He says, from today, I will call you Satyakam Jabala and you will be my student. Now that is the power of truth. In a country where we talk about, inequity and we say that, the gurus have been unfair, that has not been a culture to look. If you look in depth and you understand. And this little boy, you'll be very surprised, one of the minor Upanishad is named after Satyakam Jabala. He grew up to be a guru himself. When you, T.S. Eliot, the modernist poet from England, he said that all the Western philosophers look like school children in front of the philosophers in India, the knowledge tradition of India. The philosophers of the West. In our universities, I used to tell this at Nalanda. I started all the courses there, I made it integrated courses. So that no course lives in a silo, is not taught in a silo. So you need to have a sociological aspect, you need the historical aspect, you need the intellectual aspect. So I created courses, I created MBA in Sustainable Development and Management. Today all the students for that MBA program are international. There was a time that, or even today, we take pride in saying that our children are going to US. I brought students, or after I increased the number of, there were 2 courses, today we have run 35 or 36 I think. Students from 38 countries have come back to Nalanda. Nalanda was the first international university that India gave to the world. The first university that had an integrated curriculum. It had defense studies, along with Upanishads, along with Buddhist philosophy, along with Vastu Shastra, along with mathematics and ethics. it taught different subjects, you know, it developed holistic individuals. So the students came through the trade route, the seekers of knowledge. I generally say, wherever Buddha traversed, seeds of knowledge sprouted. You know, all these through the trade route, the knowledge seekers came in quest of knowledge. We find from 90s or 80s, we send our children overseas for studies. Nothing wrong with that, because the research funding, right from, you know, not just Bhutan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, China, New Zealand, Australia, one or two from US, England. You know, I started a course in Hindu studies also. I started world literature, which was not there. So, not there in any other university in India. So, we started some new historical studies. We started a lot of new courses there and certificate and diploma programs. So, that has been a very rewarding journey, because when there's nothing on the ground except the name, the illustrious history of Nalanda, which existed about 800 years ago, and it lasted for 800 years. It had a history of 800 years before Bhaktiyar Khilji destroyed it completely. And he destroyed the knowledge systems that we had. The treasures of knowledge. The library alone was in 7 stories at that particular time. I think you must visit the ancient Nalanda because it inspires you. When I went there, I think our government said that you can build it, rebuild it, ma'am. And the faith that was, you know, sort of reposed in me after EFLU, I thought that was an opportunity. When there's nothing, you can do it. But doing it in Bihar was the biggest challenge. What I'm trying to say here is that if you have a purpose of education, you know, you need a purpose. And if you realize your purpose in life, you can do it. Can you imagine? I never thought that I would go to Nalanda, of all places in the world, Bihar, when I had so many opportunities. But I did go there, and it was such a joy to create 200 structures, infrastructure, net zero, completely net zero campus. You should see it, state of the art. Look up on the internet, you will be able to find. The example that I am trying to give here, be it Satyakam Jhabala or Nalanda, which has risen as a phoenix, I think in each one of us, that capability is there to transform ourselves. There has to be a purpose. You know, Bernard Shaw said something very nice. He said, life is not about finding yourself. We quest, who am I? That was one philosophical thing. But these days almost everybody is in search of what do I do kind of a thing. He said life is not about finding oneself, but it is about creating yourself. So we create, or we create ourselves anew. Every time we venture, we take up a challenge and say, let's do it. I think I can do it. And I'm not going to take any negative thoughts about it. So being very positive, the power of positivity. And the youngsters here, you know, the gurus have the ability to shape. But they also have the ability to break. The hammer is a very good instrument, you know. You can chisel and carve a beautiful sculpture, but if you hit it a little hard, it will break. So you need to be very strategic, very careful. So as gurus, we have that power to create a new personality, to inspire a student, to give him or her the power of confidence, to recreate oneself. I think that's where my advice to teachers have always been. Be compassionate, but also be very strong in what you teach. You have to build an ethos. You have to build a personality. So that's very important. Then if you go back to Rigved said something very nice about education. It said the purpose of education is to be self-reliant. That's what we are all trying to be. Yeah? Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are talking about self-reliance, right? So we as individuals have to be self-reliant. And how do we do that? We do that by, rediscovering new areas of learning. Because remember, these are the days of data. There's data science and there's so much data. How do you process that data? Processing of data is very important. These days we have data strategy that you might be teaching. I started a course on data strategy. How do you build? And in US it's a big thing. Also, we find that knowledge these days is coming in capsule form. It's like taking a tablet for well-being or vitamin. Education is that. Once you learn, how do you better yourself? How do you add finesse to your personality? I think that is very important. And if you go by Bhagavad Gita we are a very blessed country. The entire world is looking at us today. And we have a wealth of philosophy, wealth of knowledge here, which we don't dip into. We look at West all the time. I value the West for its research culture, the kind of funding they put into research. The kind of labs they have, that's what is required in India, and I don't think we have that kind of funding. The government does not give, allocate that kind of funding for research. I think institutions like yours should be able to, I had the freedom, I said, let me create, and I created 6 to 7 labs, and this is a liberal arts university. You have to do it. The more the labs, the more the research. Gita says something very nice. The purpose of a person's growth or education is all about how do you metamorphosize yourself. How do you transform? Udharet atmana atmanam. Ana atmanam. So you have to, your mind is your own friend, and you can let it flower, blossom your own personality. How do you add finesse? How do you polish your personality? Because the knowledge that you acquire in your classrooms or until college, from school to college level, thereafter you are in the arena of the world where you make a name for yourself. Where you test your capabilities at every juncture. The world also tests you. You need that resilience. And that's what is required. I generally say that there's an inner, what a reservoir is. I generally believe and think that there's a reservoir inside each one of us. We can draw from it, whatever resources we want. So let's dip into our own inner reservoirs and find new meanings of education. What does it mean? Do I look after my family? Are the elders important still? Do I have the knowledge enough to convert it into wisdom, into values? T.S. Eliot, to quote him again, he said, where is the knowledge we have lost in search of information? Where is the wisdom we have lost in search of knowledge? So we have, and where is the life that we have lost in living? Because we are all the time trying to make two ends, how many dollars, how much money, how much bank balance, what have I made, what are my properties, things like that. we have no time to look at ourselves. So introspection, reflection, philosophy that we have in our culture, I think all these help us in building our knowledge quotient. We already have that, The schools train us. Skilling, these days skills are very important, but I will say that skills add value to your knowledge. So you need to, as value addition, so that you can further sharpen your intellect, further, add value to whatever you're doing. So education is a lot. It's a huge arena to talk about. One is the statistical data, what we have done, what is there, what is not there. The other dimension that I was pondering about was the philosophical and the realistic. Are we able to look at ourselves? Do we periodically, end of the day, do we look into the mirror and are we happy about our own integrity? Goethe, the German philosopher, said, boldness has a lot of beauty in it. And I firmly believe courage comes from integrity. You can fight anything, you can stand up for anything when you know you're right, when you've not done anything wrong. And you don't need to justify to anyone. So I think boldness has a strength in it that comes from character. So he was talking about character building because Vivekananda ji said, education is the manifestation of the divinity that is already. I don't know about the divinity part in today's world. I don't know. I would rather be ambiguous about it and try to cultivate, dip into it more so that we do develop it. The manifestation does not happen just like that. We need to be mindful about things. So mindfulness there is very, very important. And character building, whether you go to Aurobindo, it's self-realization, whether you go to Dayanand Saraswati or you look at Aristotle, you move in different vistas. They're all saying the same thing. Be self-reliant, ensure your character is built, and be happy, be positive. These are the three keys to success. And you never know with, the way youngsters are doing. I have complete faith in the younger generation. My only worry is that these days people are very lonely. And that leads to so-called depression. 50 years ago when I was in school, my seniors, whoever, in 80s when I was studying, there were no suicides. Never heard about it. Either in school or college, I have never. But the alarming, statistical data that is provided, we've lost faith in ourselves, that inner resilience. So don't be defeated by small things. There's a very good philosopher that everybody must read, a French philosopher called Jacques Baudrillard. He spoke about disappearance of culture. He spoke about how world is a Disneyland. It's a make-believe kind of a thing. He also said that today we live in times where we are frightened by a small event. Anything can trigger our fear. So how do we overcome that? Unless we have that resilience. And I thought India is a country that has given us that resilience. So when I find youngsters losing faith in themselves, one reprimand by the parent or pocket money is not given, you find different reasons for. And I somehow feel people who commit suicide are very, very selfish. They don't think about the parents and people around them. We need to make our children believe in themselves, believe in the power of the family, because the family is always there. So my advice to the youngsters here would be to be strong no matter what you do. And failure is a part of life. It's a given. We don't succeed every time. But that failure should teach us a lot of things. And it should also teach us to be positive. It doesn't matter. Now the next step I'm going to. So you need to brush aside things. You need to shrub off things and move forward with dynamism, fearlessly. And then you conquer the entire world. So learn to conquer yourself, then you conquer the world. And do well. My best wishes to everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. We have a very learned friend who's been.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you for inviting me to this panel discussion on the purpose of education. I'm really humbled before this. Two great panelists. One is a great educationist, another is a well-known public figure. I was wondering as to what to speak on the purpose of education, because all of you know the purpose for which you have enrolled yourself in this college. I was just wondering as to what to speak, because when you speak of education, it means that it's a formal education. That you join an institution and learn something, at the end of the period you get a certificate and get employed. That is the general notion that we have. But are we really happy with the education that we get? I'm not very sure about that. Because even after joining a job, many people are not that happy, because the world in which we are living is ever changing, and there is a knowledge explosion, and there is a technological revolution. Every minute it keeps on changing. What we study now would become obsolete probably by the time you go out of the campus. So that means you need to keep yourself ready to learn new things. So I feel that the education institutions make students to be a lifelong learners. Then only you can enjoy. Education, if it is only just cramming and then writing examination and getting good marks and then getting employment, that's not the end of education. I was going through the National Education Policy of 2020. I'm sure that most of you have gone through it. The introductory part gives the summary of that, the purpose of that education. Because they want the education to be rooted in the Indian ethos, Indian values and cultures, which means that we have to learn. Or at least when we develop tunnel vision, we do not see the other angles. Therefore, one has to be professional, plus you need to add something else. What is that something else that adds value to the education is that you know about your history, you know about your geography, you know about current affairs, you know about economy, you know about your country, agriculture, you know about what is happening in security studies. So all these, when you go through the civil services syllabus, most of the questions are only from these subjects. GS1, GS2, GS3, and also ethics they have added. There used to be 2 optionals, now there is only 1 optional. And there is CSAT. For engineering students, CSAT may be very easy. The reason why they have introduced CSAT is because we are dealing with a lot of data. Therefore, that paper is also included as a qualifying paper. And then, now the present world, we are all witnessing climate change. Because each one of us leave some carbon footprint. So, future generations should not suffer because of our actions. Grandchildren should not suffer because of our actions now. What we got benefited because of our fathers and forefathers, but we should not live a different, a negative world, a bad world for our future generations. Therefore, we have to be very careful about what we do in our life, how much carbon footprint that we leave behind us. This is one area where we should be conscious of our actions. Then, nowadays everyone wants some rights, but there is a constitution, there is a fundamental duties. There were 10 fundamental duties initially, which our education system should imbibe in the students. And they also added the 11th in the 86th Amendment of the Constitution, All India Council of Technical Education. They have added humanities also to education as a course of study. Why? Because at the end of the period, engineers, unless they also have some grounding in the humanities and art subjects, social sciences, they won't be holistic personalities. Therefore, they have incorporated that. So education, and then is also in the Sustainable Development Goals. One of the goals is goal number 4. Incheon Declaration 2015 speaks about education as inclusive, equitable, and all those phrases are there in the purpose of education. Now, education will not just only come from the teachers alone. You have internet, you have smartphones, and you also learn from your peers, from your own colleagues, seniors and juniors. When I was training for a few weeks in the Institute of Management of Ahmedabad on some technology course, I find that the teachers there are not very great, but the pedagogy that they employ is something wonderful. In fact, our teachers, our lecturers in these colleges they teach much better, but the way how they teach, how they make you to work is something totally different. So we have to learn something from them, that they make the students into small groups and give the work to them so that they come and present. See, even after graduation, it's very difficult for our students to come and speak confidently. So therefore, the institution should provide that opportunity to make them to speak, to interact, to converse. That comes when you work in teams. That should come right from the school days and college days. Now, since we are living in an interdependent world, we should collaborate. Institutions also to collaborate with other institutions. Individuals and groups also have to collaborate. Then only education can bring out the best in the human being. When the education achieves human potential in the individual, then you can build a better society and a better country. Without that, he was referring to the huge numbers. The statistics is more than 25 crore students are studying in the schools. Another 4 crores are in the higher education institutions. And there are almost 85-90 lakhs teachers are there. It means around 30 crores people are pursuing education in this country, which is slightly less than the population of the United States. Huge number. Because the demographic dividend that we have, that the government wants to derive during this Amrit Kal for the next 25 years by 2047, is a huge task before all the citizens of the country, all the students and the teachers. So we have a good quality education, imbibe the values, knowledge you can impart, but attitudes only have to come through the work atmosphere, either through sports, cultural act being given a lot of importance nowadays. So whatever we say here, probably we may remember, forget. But the other, you internalize it. So therefore, reading through the books is still the best method. It's very easy to show a PowerPoint presentation because that's what I observed as a director of the police academy. I was training the DYSPs and the sub-inspectors of police in the Erstwhile combined state. Whenever we call some of our police officers, they were giving PowerPoint presentations. It's good, PowerPoint presentation, there is nothing wrong. It is good. But then they were virtually taking the entire police manual and reproducing here. It makes no sense at all. Because there is no involvement of the students. You can as well read it. It is easy for the teacher to give PowerPoint presentation and somehow kill the time. But the retention levels are very low. Therefore, make sure that once you read, make your own notes. I used to have my own notes in agriculture college. Because when you make notes in your own way, it is easy to refer and recollect. Because you always underline the keywords. Therefore, when it's required, it's easy to recapture. Retrieval is very easy. So, education, when you do in the hard way, that's the retention levels are much more, and it's certainly very useful. I think with these few thoughts on education, I will hand it over to the moderator.
Are there any questions? 60% of the IAS officers are engineers. What did they study engineering for? 20% of the IAS officers are doctors. Right, sir? These are the no latest figures I corrected. Similarly, the police also, so many engineers. What are they studying engineering for? That means it's only job only. Of course, any job done well is good, no doubt. But are you sure what for are you studying? That's very important. I would like you to ask questions. Pranipatena, pariprasnena, sevaya, upadechantite jnanam, jnaninaha, tattvadarshinaha. That's what the Bhagavad Gita says. Pariprasnena. That is by asking. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna goes on asking in all the 18 chapters. In all the 18 chapters, Arjuna goes on asking questions. And Krishna answers all of them. Is that the way of you teach? They are not asking, I am triggering.
Feel free to ask. Vice Chancellor of Nalanda University is there. Don't need to hesitate. You want mic? Anybody?
Can they come? Yeah. Sir, with your permission, sorry to. There's a memento here. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you. Been a pleasure to be here and a privilege. To all of you, the youngsters, I wish you all very well.
She spoke about Satyagama Javali.
So both are conflicting. So that ela manage.
Sustainable development. development cannot bring in destruction. It has to be sustainable on a long-term basis. Now technologies are available to do that. Have you read COP28? COP28. COP, 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 yes, 28. So it's written. Please go through that. It is definitely some emissions are inevitable because we are using the lights, we are using ACs. Okay, we are constructing using cement and steel. So emissions are bound to happen. We have transportation. Okay. So now they are studied in depth all this. Where exactly more emissions are coming, how to reduce it. So governments, each country has given certain targets. They have to fulfill those targets. Since the developed nations are not, because they have already emitted so much and they are still continuing. So now the carbon credits have come. Okay, carbon credits, when you have a lot of green cover and all that, when you have, you can encash your carbon credits. That carbon $100 billion something was provided for. So some of these industries, ESG, now the ESG norm has come, environment and social governance, in the corporate sector, so, which is actually minus neutral. Because with huge population, we also require green cover. That's why we have hardly 20% is green cover is there. So it's supposed to be around 33%. So you know it. Thank you.
Civilization has been energy intensive. And where was the energy coming from? By burning coal, burning oil, burning gas. But when sun is there, inexhaustible, so solar power does not use carbon or anything and emit carbon dioxide. But solar power, yes, power is generated. When the sun is not there, it has got to be stored. Where is it stored? In the batteries. And what do the batteries utilize? Lithium, so no other things are there. But if they go into the earth, they don't deteriorate it. They don't degrade it. So every day there is a limitation for each and everything. Bhuharamun Badapi. That is Krishna's Niryana in the Bhagavata. Balahirangulakun Baladhikulakun Pratyadhivavodyamambulu Kalpinchi Vinashamun Nerapi Bhuvaramun Babi Kotakuchundai Chani Yemani Vinnavintu Bhagavadayattamu Udvishkara. Because there is a certain balance has to be maintained between nature and life. 84 lakhs of creatures are there. Species they are called. How many of them are extinguished? How many of us can see these sparrows? How many of us can see the Ramachiluka? What is the name of Telugu for parrot? Ramachiluka. Do you know what is called Ramachiluka? Ekapatni Vrajudu. Sparrows, when they mate, the male and the female, if one of them dies, the other never marries another body. That's why they are called Ramachiluka. So, our entire literature of Bharat has emphasized the balance between nature and life. If you upset that balance, Vinasamu, that's what will happen. Not Nasamu, it will be Vinasamu. So much wisdom is there in the Bhagavata and the Mahabharata. And what is it that we are being taught? The Vijayanagara Empire lasted from when to when? From 1348 to 1565, and then also Lingardha. That means for more than 200 years. What is the bloody Mughal? 1526 to 1707, less than 200 years. But what are we taught about the Vijayanagara Empire? What are we taught about the Chola Empire? The Cholas had got the greatest navy in the world, and they dominated the entire Indian Ocean east of India up to Philippines. Did you ever learn did anybody teach us in the high school stage? Never. It is only in the IAS, IPS examination times some people are asking about Vijayanagara or some other thing. So, India as of Indian people have been deprived of the knowledge of our culture and of our history. That's why the new education policy is a total departure from what it was before. First, discover yourself, discover what you are. And the quotation of the great people that have said about Eisenhower, this and that, etc., is saying, first know thyself, know your history, know your country, know your friends. Because that is the ground from which you have to take this sustenance. I am very, very surprised when there are no questions.
No, stop. They will ask.
Because they have not asked me, I am talking.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, it's very good.
Sir, I have a question. I have a question for Malakonde sir.
Very good.
Sir, what is the meaning of corruption, and how many ways of the corruption? And nowadays we are in a situation that nobody lives without corruption, right from a small employee to the very richest person. The entire society is under corruption as per the law. Is that law is corrupted, or situation is like that? Can you give any suggestions?
See, corruption is a part of the governance. You see, good governance. If you want good governance, you have to reduce corruption. You have to make systems transparent. Okay? So, in some areas, for example, earlier, getting a railway ticket or a gas connection or a telephone, all that has gone. So, in some areas, it has been eliminated or reduced substantially. In some areas, it is still there, particularly in the governments, both in state and central governments. In some areas, it is there. You can't generalize whole thing and say that everybody is correct. That's not correct. Yes, these are issues. So ease of doing business is one parameter in which one of the indicators is corruption, transparency, systems improvement, capacity building, infrastructure. So many issues are there. It's very easy to say that, in fact, in the Transparency International, India has, the ranking has gone up. Okay. Particularly in Southeast Asia, in our Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Indian subcontinent, there are issues. If you read the Gunnar Myrdal's Asian drama or subsequent 5-year plans, you understand. See, at the time of independence, our literacy was very low. We were from ship to mouth. We were importing food grains from elsewhere and then to feed the millions. Now, that situation is not there. Now we are producing more than 300 million tons of food grains. We are in fact surplus. That's why the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister has given 5 kgs for the 80 crores population every month. Huge surplus stocks are there. Okay. This is one great success. Green Revolution. No doubt it has got other negative issues. But nevertheless, we are self-sufficient in food grain production. Similarly, infrastructure, there is a lot of improvement. Okay. In power sector, from nowhere, we are almost, I don't say 100% self-sufficiency, but almost nearby. Now we are in the renewables, be it solar, be it wind, be it, all this, because we want to reduce the fossil fuel consumption, particularly thermal. Okay. So these are all developments are taking place. Civil aviation, they want to construct another 200 airports. Okay. So a lot of improvements are there. The only issue is that manufacturing is one issue, which is still, that's why they have given PLI scheme. Okay. Then they also given incentives, particularly the MSME, because which employs the largest workforce. So they said in the recent Section 43(8), that has given the mandate that the industries, whenever we procure things from them in 45 days, we have to make payments, and credit limits to the MSMEs slightly eased. A lot of things are happening. So, you see, it takes a long time to 100% eliminate corruption. But corruption will be in some form or the other will be there in developing countries. Even in developed countries also, corruption may not be there in the routine tasks, but some other lobbying may be there. Okay, they lobby in US, which is officially recognized mode. So it's a big issue. It's a governance issue. Because when general public expect money for voting, so you get the leader, yada praja tada raja. That also happens. So let's not expect very ideal thing. Corruptionless society in a country like ours, which has got a huge poverty, inequality. So these are issues. Social issues are there. Economic issues are there. So let us not think that everybody is corrupt, system, entire system is corrupt. No, I don't think so. If that is the case, I would not have been sitting here.
I don't totally agree with you. The question of corruption has been discussed in the Raghuvamsha of Kalidasa. In the Raghuvamsha of Kalidasa. Can you ever tell when the fish is drinking water or not? Can you ever tell when the fish is drinking water or not? This is what he is asked. Government servant, when he is handling so much money, when does he take, when does he not take? Now, he gave, what should be the taxation policy of the government? See, look at this sun. Where does the sun take the water from? From wherever it is available. Is it not? From the ponds, from the rivers, from the oceans. And where does it rain? Everywhere. So the taxation policy of the Raghu kings was, from whom we can take, we shall take. To whom shall we give? To everyone who needs. Now, more the government, more the corruption. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why government should be least. That government is best, which is least. Because like fishing. Now, today, in politics, most of the time, why do you require money to get power? Why do you require power to make money? So, self-perpetuating vicious cycle. That's what is happening. How to break it? Less government. You have heard of Rajgopalachari and Swatantra philosophy. They said least government is the best government. Least government is the best government. When you are expecting for marriage government, you are wanting to receive the government. What is it that you are not expecting from government? Now, sir, do government servants create wealth? Or do they eat wealth? I am a government servant. Government servants are supposed to facilitate the creation of wealth. Wealth is created by private companies, by private individuals, not by government. Government has never created wealth. It is to give health, look after health. It is to look after education. Education that makes man to earn, to be self-dependent. That government is least, is best, which is least. But today, unfortunately, in the name of socialism, we are saying everything will be done. We need not do anything. Example, Andhra Pradesh government itself. 80% of the families in Andhra Pradesh are getting 48,000 rupees on the average every year. 80%, these are the figures that Jagan Babu has given. And where is he getting the money from? Borrowing. How is he borrowing? He has, Chandrababu created only 3 corporations. Brahmin Corporation, Naidu Corporation, and what is the third one? Vaishya Corporation. Jagan created 40 corporations. And each corporation is borrowing money with sovereign guarantees. Sovereign guarantee means the government is giving the guarantee. And all those corporations are borrowing money with the government of Andhra Pradesh guarantee. And what are they? They are doing nothing. And that money is taken by Jagan Babu and distributed. That's why the debt of Andhra Pradesh has ballooned to 8 lakhs of crores of rupees from 2.5 something like that. Article 360 of the Constitution says emergency, financial emergency. That's what is to be there. And if the financial emergency is imposed, their salaries will be cut. That's what the Constitution says.
See, some other developed nations have got more debt than us. Okay, let us not too much delve on that subject.
The ability to pay on that debt.
No.
The most indebted country in the world.
See, they have a debt of $33 billion. Okay, it's more than 100. Oh, 1 minute.
Japan has got 130% of the GDP as debt.
250? No.
30% as debt.
India has got only 82%, 81%. Okay. Let us leave that subject at this. And then if any question is there, last question, we will stop at that.
Sir, it's my honor to read your profile, sir. I had came across through the term called bureau as a portfolio, not as a police, not as a some kind of sub department under police department. What if we promote ACP as a portfolio and how it gives changes in the society? That's my first question, sir.
No, ACP is not under police, it is under the general administration department. No doubt it has got some police officers as investigating officers. That Prevention of Corruption Act has come into effect with the Santanam Committee report in 1962. It has 1964 onwards, I think it in different state governments, this was there. And earlier it used to be the CBI which used to investigate. Those days corruption was less because the government activity was also less in those days. The government activity is manifold because the government has to provide so many public goods